it's Kyle the Droid Guy here. We are at the Qualcomm booth at Appnation here in San Francisco with my new friend Leon, who's going to show us the newest Qualcomm developer kit for mobile. And this came out today, right?
This, absolutely. So it was launched this morning.
Okay.
Through our partner who distributes the product, B Square. So if you go to bsquare.com/Qualcomm, you get all the all the information about this, all the cool stuff, all the specs, and the idea is that we have a great chipset, the Snapdragon 8660. Well, the one that's coming out, it's actually phenomenal. You have 2 cores, each running at 1.5 gigahertz, fastest in the market. You have a brand new GPU that's twice faster than what we have today. And actually, one of the things we're showing here, which is what you're showing right now in the video, this is our asynchronous dual-core or multi-core technology. And the idea is that in our implementation of the CPU, we have both cores are independent of each other. So everybody else, by their design, they have to run the 2 cores at the same clock and frequency. In our own custom CPU, we have independent controls of the 2 cores. So if I don't, if one of my cores is say up this high, and the other one doesn't need to be that high, my second core, I can clock it at lower voltage and lower frequency, turning into power savings for the phone. And what we're showing here is basically the power savings over the last 30 seconds of async dual core versus the standard implementation. So this is an advantage in the Snapdragon chipset. We're really excited about this.
So, not to rag on anybody, but like take her to it. It doesn't. The 2 cores work at the same time.
Yeah, so all the other competitors in the space, they use the standard ARM implementation. We have our architecture license, so we design our own CPU. So one of the, we did a few things obviously. We made each core more power efficient. We made each core faster, so it runs at 1.5 gigahertz. And not only that, we made it what we call asynchronous. So now I can have the 2 cores at the same clock and frequency if I wanted to, but if the second core doesn't need to be that high, I can run it at a lower voltage and lower clock. So that's an advantage we have relative to everybody else in the industry.
So right now, the 2 cores are kind of balancing each other out. So core 1, it's got a lot of weight on it, so then it puts the drain on the other core.
Yeah, so what's happening is core 1 is doing a lot of work because it's running this game and a bunch of other things. But then the second core is servicing some background app, right? Let's say you have an email app that's every now and then is checking something, right? Now the email app, when you turn on the second core, doesn't need to come up all the way as the first core, because it doesn't, the email app doesn't necessarily need that much CPU power. So what we do in our asynchronous case is when we turn on that second core, we can load balance it. So we can say it only needs to be at this clock and this voltage, right? Nobody else can do that. Okay.
So the new developer kit has this new async technology.
Async technology. It's in our 8660 chipset, and the developer kit, the intention is to give early access to our chipset to developers. So they can start creating apps, they can start optimizing apps, fine-tuning it, so when the commercial devices hit the market, their apps are ready to go, they're fine-tuned, they're optimized, they work really well. So that's one of the things developers always asked us. They say, oh, you have great Snapdragon chipsets, but by the time the commercial devices show up and I get to take advantage of those cool features, it takes me a couple months to get an app out there, right? So what we're doing is we're giving them now a platform that has a chipset for them to get early.
And it's bsquare.com?
bsquare.com/Qualcomm.